Why don't you give me a sign?
This is Corinna Jane.
The leaves are trailing on that shore. It's not your problem, it's mine.
With her brand new single, Give Me a Sign.
While the world still spins,
As featured on BBC Introducing.
it's just the way it's gotta be. Give me a sign about the things that we don't know. Why don't you give me a sign?
Corinna Jane, Give Me a Sign. Out now.
It's not your problem, it's mine.
Hello, I'm Sophia Jessica, and welcome to the Fan Carpet.
So, The Jill of the Trade is a short documentary about 5 women who speak about the hardships and successes of working in a male-dominated field. Each woman is from a different continent, representing a separate trade. I'm excited to welcome award-winning filmmaker Charysse Harper to talk about this important documentary. Welcome to the Fan Carpet.
Hey, thank you so much. It's really good to be here. Good to be back working with you again.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we go back to the beginning, was there a defining moment for you to get into the entertainment industry?
Wow, that is an interesting question. So growing up, so I'm from Southern California, and growing up, my family and we're big fans of news. So the news dramas like 60 Minutes, Dateline NBC, and my sister and I always pretended that we were anchors. So we would cut out a cardboard box where she would be the anchor and I would be the viewer, and vice versa. So I always wanted to get into storytelling. But in terms of the cinematic aspect, I've always loved film. So I always wanted a way to combine it where I can tell stories that are news stories, basically nonfiction stories, as well as do it in a cinematic way to entertain people. So from then, I would say around a teenager time, or even before then, actually, I always knew I wanted to do that, but I didn't know what that was called and how to do it. So as I got into university and I realized, hey, it's basically being a documentary filmmaker. So I'm able to blend my love of nonfiction stories plus cinematic visual attraction, and then become a documentary filmmaker.
Okay. So it's documentary filmmaking where you want to stay as a filmmaker, bring us a light important subjects like 12 months and your current Jill of the Trade.
Yes, that is correct. I want to maintain being a documentary filmmaker just because I think that that's what I'm good at. I have not written a script. I've not done casting in ages. So the last time I did that was in university, age, how long? 15 years ago, a long time. And that's nothing that I enjoy doing. However, I don't mind working on other people's projects. I worked recently as an AD, producer, PA, for fiction projects, but in terms of me actually directing, I would have to definitely stick in the documentary world, just because I know there are so many stories in the world that are there to be told that we don't see, I don't see, you don't see. But when I'm able to find out about it, either by hearing people talking about it, people telling me about it, I'm thinking this is something exciting and interesting that other people need to know about as well. How can I bring it to them?
Absolutely. So virtually went around the world to get the 5 women in for this documentary. What was it about these 5 people that stood out to you stood out to you as the subjects of your documentary?
Yes. So finding these women, this was probably the hardest task because the Jill of the Trade was made during the COVID-19 pandemic. So at the beginning of the year 2020, and my story is not uncommon. I feel everybody has a similar story where you had all these plans for the new year. So I was actually set on working on Las Matadoras, which is a feature-length documentary about female bullfighters. So I got a small grant for it. I was ready to go start shooting in May. And then the pandemic hit in March. So I had to take a back seat and really try to figure out what I can do during the COVID-19 pandemic. So shooting Las Matadoras was out because there were no bullfighting. Bullfighting was not going on. So I'm thinking, how can I still make it female oriented, but not doing bullfighting? And I can't even remember the turning point. I was doing courses, international development courses, and I was getting more and more into female empowerment slash gender equality. And in finding material, writing these papers, I thought, hey, why not do something about something similar on that topic? And I'm like, okay, the biggest thing is that I don't have a short under my belt. I've made 7 projects. None of them has been a short. I've had films as long as 87 minutes, and I've never told a story in a condensed 20, 25 minutes. So, excuse me. So I said, okay, let me try to figure out how I can do that. So, in thinking of how I can combine all that, doing something about gender equality, female empowerment, and a short, I thought of talking to women who work in male dominated fields. And I wanted to actually hit women from all over the world. So, specifically from each continent, or not even continent, I would say region, because I feel that, especially in Hollywood, everything is very American based. Of course, when you go to the UK, even in the UK, things are still very Hollywood, English, American Western world based. And I wanted to highlight that women all over the world experience the same thing, whether you're an American, whether you're Russian, whether you're Persian, it doesn't matter. You experience the same thing. So in finding the women, it was basically just basically being a needle in a haystack. I'm just trying to reach out to anyone who'd hear me out. So it would start at researching people. First, I reached out. So I'm part of these documentary virtual groups, these email lists where I reached out to them. Hey, does anyone know any women who fits the qualification? And some people gave me some contacts, and then of course I try to reach out to them. Then I'm just doing a general Google search. Then I'm contacting high commissions, embassies, consulates. Then I'm looking at magazines and looking at newspapers, trying to get in contact with various women. I mean, for me, it didn't matter what the women did, in the sense of I wanted women working in male-dominated fields. Didn't care. I mean, of course, I was thinking of something exotic like mercenary and arms dealer, but that's a bit too far-fetched. So I said, I'm just looking for, so I made a list of people that I'm looking for. Obviously, the first in your field, in your country, would be ideal, but it's very difficult to find many firsts who would actually want to talk to me. Because I'm not a big Hollywood producer. I don't have a studio backing this. So yeah, so once I found, I reached out, I would say maybe, I would even say 100 women. And first pilot in Lebanon, first civil engineer in Kiribati, first female sumo wrestler, various things, first female firefighter, things like this. So in order to, in getting the 5 women that I chose, they were unique in the sense that they do different jobs and they're in different continents. And that's really what I wanted to get. So, and in talking to them, because the biggest thing is that you may be really good in your field, but you may not be a good person on camera. I really wanted to talk to them to get an understanding of if they are a good interviewee. And the 5 that I settled on, they're very charismatic. They understand the weight, so to speak, that is on their shoulder, because it's not a surprise to them that they look around and they're like, oh, I'm one of the only women here. So they were very humble to speak to me, and from there we just started going like that.
Awesome. And it just brings, glad you did get a few first though, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, I have can I say the women who are in my film yet?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so the 5 women that I ended up getting, I have a software developer from Russia. So she is, there are 3 women now out of 23 in her team. I have a mining manager from Eritrea, so East Africa, and very few women, as you can imagine, work in the mining field. Mm-hmm. I have a plumber from the US. She's based in California. And I have one of the few female mayors in Afghanistan. And the first is the first Latin American priest, and she is from Colombia. So I was very, very happy to speak with these women wanted to speak to me. I think that's the biggest thing, is that they are quite instrumental in their field, and just giving me an hour and an hour and a half to talk was very exciting.
Cool. So after making feature-length documentaries like The Other Side of Carnival, Panamundo, which was actually 2 parts, and 12 Months, why did you decide to create this documentary as a short documentary?
Yeah, so I really wanted a short underneath my belt, because at least for me, I want to be a filmmaker that's very versatile. I didn't just want to stick to one format. I mentioned that I've made 7 projects, The Jill of the Trade being the 8th. And the 7 out of them, 4 are focused on Trinidad and Tobago, which is my culture. I'm 100% Trinidad Tobago. Well, I guess 100% Trini, but I was just born in the U.S., so Trini American. So I highlighted a lot about my culture, which it will always be important to me. But I really wanted to highlight that. And then in other aspects, then I did things that were based in LA, in the US, and they're all longer stories. And I feel to really, again, for me to be a versatile documentary filmmaker, you need to have stories that are short, you need to have stories that are long. And I just wanted to see if I can challenge myself to tell a story in a short amount of period of time. I mean, 87 minutes is a long time, and I'm doing that in 1/4 of the time. So this was just a challenge to see if I can get an interesting story across in a short amount of time. So 22 minutes is what I'm looking at, because if you add in adverts, that will nicely fit into a 30-minute time slot, which is my goal, to get this shown in a 30-minute time slot around the world.
Great. All right, cool. So you're using Instagram Live at the moment to get the word out. How has that process been?
Yeah, oh, Instagram Live. Okay, I mean, I am not a social media person at all. For me, I really think you need to be a personality to do well on social media. And as a documentary filmmaker, I enjoy being behind the scenes as opposed to in front. But because of the pandemic, everything was being done virtually. That's the only way you were able to hear about things. Prior to COVID, everything we did was in person, in-person screenings, whether it be at a cinema, at a university, in a library, outdoor festival, everything was just outdoors. So now having to switch, being on social media was difficult. So I want to thank Oscar a lot, Black Wolf Oscar. He has helped me immensely kicking off the social media, as well as Prophet Mike, OG Mike. He's also helped me out a lot. And Instagram is our biggest platform, by the way. We are going along slowly. So I officially launched the page in April of this year. So we've been there for about 2 months. And every week I'm doing IG Live. So we're doing Instagram Live, where I speak to either an inspirational woman, so a woman who is also one of the few in her field, which is a male-dominated profession, or we're doing a behind the scenes, where I speak to people that I'm working with, so some of my crew members, in order to finish the film. So we have done, I think, 9 weeks, 10 weeks. Yeah, so it's moving along, meaning that, I mean, we don't have a big presence compared to, I think we have over 100, which is good, a success for me. And the biggest thing is I really want to attract new people, because I know my friends and family, they'll know about the Jill of the Trade. And of course, they're going to support me because they're my friends and my family, but I want more people to know about me. So Instagram is very important. And then Instagram Live is even more important, because people can then get to see me and the guests that I bring, to find out what they're doing and really try to let people know that, hey, this is what they're doing. But you could see more about something like this once the Jill of the Trade is finished. But we still need to work on our Twitter and Facebook pages. And we even have a TikTok. But yeah, they need to work. But Instagram, going well enough.
All right. Onwards. So where can we find you online and keep up with everything you're doing?
Yes, so right now we are in the process of getting our YouTube channel sorted out, as well as the website. So the only way you can keep up to date is at Jill of the Trade. So that's the same handle for Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Jill of the Trade. And yeah, and just keep updated. Oh, and TikTok as well. But again, TikTok is not that good. But yeah, so keep updated with us. Within the next month, we're going to have things up on YouTube as well as the website. But in the meantime, social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook are the best ways to keep up to date with what's going on with us.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thanks for joining me today. This has been incredible. It's always a pleasure to speak to you. And good luck with the film. And yeah, that 17 days that you're going to spend editing and everything else. And yeah, I look forward to coming out of whatever you do next.
Thank you, Ellie. I really appreciate it. Yes, 17 days. We're going to go hard, going to go strong.
Yep, cool. Can't wait. Looking forward to it.
Thank you,
and you'll be back in the UK soon enough, so that'd be cool as well. All right, look after yourself. Have a good day.
Thanks,
Take care.
Ellie. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram for more content next time.
I'm here on the largest of the Balearic Islands, Mallorca. With the turquoise waters of the Mediterranean Sea, beautiful mountainous landscape, the thriving city of Palma, quaint little market towns, a growing number of luxury hotels. It's no surprise that the likes of Audrey Hepburn and Elizabeth Taylor like to holiday here. So come and join me as I take you around Mallorca.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. If you like this video, be sure to click that thumbs up button at the bottom of your screen. And also be sure to subscribe to the Fan Carpet YouTube channels. They're absolutely free and so much fun too. Be sure to check out the official website, thefancarpet.com. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date with reviews, competitions, the latest news, and so much more.